Hi, everybody. This is Drew Tomlin with the Association for Middle Level Education, and we are joined here today on this Google Hangout by Dr. Victoria Lentfer. She is a STEM instructor and middle school program director for the University of Nebraska, Omaha, and she's also, of course, the author of this wonderful article that you're checking out here in AMLE magazine entitled Classroom Management with Voice, Movement, Task. So this is a passion of hers, classroom management. So we're excited about the article and want to talk a little bit more to you. Victoria, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Awesome. So, all right, we're going to get straight into the questions, and we always like to start with an inspirational one. And so the question is, what inspired you to write about this topic? Why now?
Right. Absolutely. I think right now, especially with such high stakes testing and such diverse classrooms now, communication is key. And so if we can communicate effectively and efficiently, so the students aren't wasting time and they're on task, we're able to reach more students. And right now I'm so grateful because I'm able to work at the University of Nebraska, Omaha at the College of Education. And so right now we are in the middle of really training our teacher candidates in order to be able to give really clear, concise directions as well as behavior expectations. So this is kind of where this came about. So we looked at the voice and the movement and the task. And we took a look at this, and it actually started when I was in the middle school teaching myself. I noticed that I had some, I called it controlled chaos. And so I began a series of recordings. I recorded myself and I started taking a look. And so the recordings revealed that, yeah, okay, I gave directions, but it wasn't always explicit. And so when the kids were getting into their learning groups, I noticed that there was a lot of off-task behavior, a lot of chitter-chatter, and hands and feet weren't to themselves. So then I decided, okay, let's talk about behavior before we begin our activity. And I want to say again, my background is I taught in highly urban areas. I worked at Boys Town at maximum security prisons, and so my area of expertise is in the urban setting, so I had to set them up for success.
Right.
Going back to the University of Nebraska, Omaha, when I teach them, many of the students do very well with school, right? They give directions, they know how to follow them, so they assume students know how to do the same. Right. So I had to take a step back, and now I brought it to the university as well as to how to give behavior expectations as well as directions for an activity.
Right. And I love the fact that it's grounded in the practices. That in the practice you've worked with students, and obviously a diverse group of students that aren't necessarily responsive to the normal classroom management routines or what students may learn in a pre-service textbook. I mean, it's really that speaks well to your experience. So, you touched upon the videotaping of yourself, and, in your article, you mentioned that you videotaped your class to, quote, analyze what was hindering the learning process. And first of all, just bravo for that vulnerability and that self-reflection. I think that's a real brave step to videotape yourself and and see, try to see what's going on. So why did you choose videotape, and how did that tool specifically help you get to the answers?
Absolutely. Well, videotaping, of course, like you said, it does take a little bit of courage, but once you get past what you're wearing and what you look like, then you start to analyze what's actually going on. And, what's actually going on is different from what's going on in your head. You might think, boy, I'm giving great directions. The kids understand it. I understand it completely, but do they really? Okay, so then I started recording, and it opened up a whole new world, because I started looking at it and thinking, wow, the kids look confused. There's a lot of questions. They're asking each other. They're kind of off topic. It just revealed so many new things to me. And not only that, again, we brought that whole idea of recording ourselves to the University of Nebraska, Omaha. The teacher candidates go out into the practicum, they record themselves and reflect. And so I think it's an important endeavor to improve the practice and improve on being a more reflective professional as well.
Yeah, excellent. I think it's a unique school. It's
Yeah.
one that I used myself in my when I was an administrator in the middle school.
Yeah.
So I found it too very, very revealing. So
I still record myself. I still record myself and make sure because I model how I want teachers to teach in the classroom. So I'll also do that and talk to them about how I record my lessons and then analyze it afterwards with them.
excellent. Yeah. And it's funny, you mentioned the word modeling and what you do for your students to show what you expect of them. When it comes to classroom management, how important is it to model the expectations you have for young adolescents?
Oh my goodness, that is so important. It's so key because again, even though you're telling them, you need to show them. And I always tell my students, you need to model it, take the time. The first few times you do a learning strategy, it's going to take a little more time. But with each time you practice this and you model it, I have students come up, model how to do it. I may even model how not to do it. So, the kids have fun. They know what to do. We talk about the voice. So the voice is either level 1, which is independent, level 2 with a partner, and level 3 is whole group. And so we take a look at that and model it. And then the movement is, okay, keep your hands and feet to yourself. You just keep it simple, 2 or 3 things that you want to talk about. And movement, maybe which direction are you going to move from station to station? Materials, maybe you need a pen, paper, pencil, that sort of thing. And then the task is obviously the directions for the learning strategy.
Right. The modeling, I mean, that's just so spot on. The modeling is so critical. We can't assume that young adolescents know how to follow these routines. It's not an age thing. So, and one of the things that sets middle school apart from any other kind of school structure, I think, is interdisciplinary teaming.
Yes.
I think so. In terms of classroom management, how do you help other teachers on your grade level or on your interdisciplinary team with this work? So classroom management practices, those best practices are happening for all students and not just in your classroom. But how do you help other teachers see?
Absolutely. Mentoring is a powerful tool as well. And so again, you always want to talk about, you talked about, you never want to assume that the students know how. So you want to talk about, like with the science labs, obviously behavior expectations are so important there. With reading and writing and language arts, you want to make sure that they're on task. And so behavior is a critical piece to this whole idea of getting students on task. So the kids don't know what they don't know. So if you don't tell them and you don't model it, then you can't expect them to do what you want in your head. You want to be able to communicate it clearly to them.
Yeah, exactly. And making sure that other teachers know that as well, that,
Absolutely.
Modeling for other teachers, letting other teachers come into your classroom even so they can see what good, effective classroom management looks like as well. So that's awesome. So listen, I'm going to conclude with a metaphorical journey if you're ready for it, Victoria.
Okay.
All right, and it's one that I take lots of people on. So just hop on board.
Okay.
So if classroom management was a food for middle level education, what kind of food would it be and why?
Wow. That's a tough question. That's a really good question, actually. It makes you think. And I have to say, classroom management has so many different facets to it that I would say it would include all 4 food groups. I know that's not a great answer, but I got to tell you, it's everything, but I also include dessert because you do have to have a little sweetness, a little fun to add into that classroom management. But all those different pieces, it's not just directions, it's not just modeling, it's everything from transitions to modeling respect and teaching them how to raise their hand properly, how to share, materials. Everything goes into classroom management. And so I have to say all 4 food groups.
All four. I think that's top shelf. I'll tell you what. Yeah, because you're right. Because classroom management can't be just something that happens periodically or is reinforced periodically, but it's something that should run through the entire menu, the entire course of the meal. And I love that you put sweetness in there too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because classroom management shouldn't be doom and gloom or punitive necessarily. No. It should be something that rewards students and rewards everybody for effective behavior and gosh, just that's great stuff. So yes,
Absolutely.
all four food groups.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Always
Bravo.
got to have a positive spin in there, right?
Exactly. A little spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, as they say.
That's right.
There you go. All right. Well, gosh, Victoria, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today about this article. Great stuff.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed my time, and I love your magazine. You have some great articles in there, and so I appreciate everything that you do for middle school as well.
Oh gosh, thanks for raising the praise. Well, thank you, and thanks again. Thank you, AMLE magazine readers, for checking out this article and checking out this Google Hangout here at AMLE, where we help you reach every student, grow professionally, and create great schools. All right, thanks again, Victoria.
Okay, thank you.